This time around, unlike when Silver announced 100 buses to NLC and we did not get one, this time around, we have taken delivery of about 14 CNG buses. The other 6, maybe they're on their way. Secondly, a CNG bus without a station where you can refill it it amounts to carton. Well, I think I've talked about it, about the fuel price. But if there's anything that is ambiguous there, you want me to comment on, I'll go ahead and comment on.
What is ambiguous in what you have said is the first one was moved to about 900 naira. Now it's 1,000. And we're saying if fuel price was moved twice within 2 months, and the minimum wage has not been implemented just yet, or 70,000 naira, does it not make nonsense of the new minimum wage that is set to be implemented? And then what happened to the agreement between you and government saying, no, we are not going to implement minimum increased fuel price if you agree to 70,000 naira?
I'll take just one leg of your first question. You know, the increase in pump price of petroleum products twice, probably in 2 months, and the implication on the workers. Because when you talk about 70,000 minimum wage, we are talking of the workers.
Yeah.
And which, if you like, you can give them a percentage of Nigerians. And then the increase has nothing to do with workers specific. It has to do with the whole country. Now, if I respond on what we are going to do now as a labor movement, would that translate to what Nigerians would do to respond to this? Because we are trying to, look at it vis-a-vis 70,000 naira, which was given to workers. And workers, to this extent, may mean, not close to 20% of the citizens. Now, what is the implication on the other 80% of Nigerians? Because we have to look at it holistically. Now, the response to that will still go back to the labor movement. However, when the labor movement goes, assuming we get 1 naira or 2 naira or no naira, it does not equally translate to 1 naira or 2 naira to other citizens of this country. Now, this is why there should be a collective response to it, not an NLC fight. That the person, the mason, the carpenter that is leaving his house to go and work somewhere, this morning, the price will change. So what happens to him? So I think it's important we understand it. And it's important for those in government to realize that governance is not just about increasing pump price of petroleum products. It appears that every morning people come out and increase. Is that all about governance? We have had agreements on looking at the issue of CNG, the impact on it. Today, it's not there. We have had agreement on the issue of Port Harcourt refinery functioning. It is not functioning today. And like I said earlier, they said if we deregulate so that the private sector will come in and participate, it will involve, competition. And when there is competition, the market forces will determine the prices. Now, where does that economic analysis lead us to now? There is a private person in place now, the Dangote refinery. And then the Nigerian, and the NNPC, as you all know today, has been incorporated as a limited liability company. So who dictates the price for others? Is it being determined by market forces? Now, when you look at all these lies and the economic abracadabra, how does a country grow under this? So that's the second leg to the question you raised. I don't know whether you need further clarification.
President, coming to your premises yesterday, I saw that NLC also benefited
from the
CNG buses.
Yes.
What are you going to do with those 2 CNG buses? You deploy it to
government said they have given us.
How many did you get?
Government said they have given us 20 CNG buses. This time around, unlike when Silver announced 100 buses to NLC and we did not get one, this time around, we have taken delivery of about 14 CNG buses. The other 6, maybe they're on their way. Secondly, a CNG bus without a station where you can refill it amounts to carton. Now, there's nobody that will be telling you they're getting you CNG buses, and there's no station where you can go and buy the CNG for the vehicle to work. You will see them stay parked there until such a time, the necessary things are done. You can now, in the actual fact, if you give us 20 CNG buses, which route are we going to? How many people? And some of them are 15-seater buses. 15-seater buses by even 20, although we have not taken delivery of about 6. Now, which problem is he going to solve? Are we going to use our private vehicles or for transportation? However, it shouldn't be abortion before pregnancy. All these things should have been ready, before you continue this increase, so that people will have alternative. But we don't have alternative now. The buses you saw there yesterday are parked there, and they will remain parked there until we know where to, get the CNG, to refill them.
Okay, so you talked about the National Assembly coming out clear on the coverage of the national minimum wage. What exactly do you mean?
Well, in every minimum wage, there are basic components in them. Here, you have the amount, you have the coverage. This minimum wage will cover, before it used to be 25 people. Those who employ up to 25 people are covered by this minimum wage. Then you have review period. And in the last negotiation, we got the amount to be 70,000. We got the review period reduced from 5 years to 3 years. And then on the issue, we proposed a reduction to about 15 or 5 people that will have coverage area from 25. But up to now, they have not removed the white paper to determine the amount. However, by the pronouncement of the President of the Senate, he said every worker now, and when you look at it, every worker now, it then means, it's not restricted to 4 or 5 people. So we are waiting for the law itself to come out to know whether they, on their own, changed it to every worker. So which means if you have one gate man, you pay him 70,000. If you have one driver, you pay him 7. So that is the explanation I'm asking for.
But which will excite you more, the every worker or the 5 to 15 worker?
Well, we can look at it. By that time, we look at even unionization of domestic workers. Now, if you go to that extent of unionization of domestic workers, and then they have employers formally recognized to now say that if you have one cook, that cook you must pay him 70,000. If you don't have that, there will be no balancing. It will be, if you want to pay, you pay. So it has to be, we should have employers there. You can't have employees without employers association where this will be discussed. So that's our approach to it.
So finally, on the book, on the presentation of the tripartite by one of us. So what do you think about the book? And
give us kind of an understanding. It seems government level always have issues to resolve, always crises one after the other. Relating to this tripartite, give us an understanding so that the people out there will really understand how it works in the government and the employers and the workers.
Well, if you represent the interest of workers, you will try to defend it. And at any point in time, it is being eroded. There will definitely be what you call conflict. And that conflict, the essence of having a tripartism is for its resolution of the conflict. Now, but the problem is that the role of government is so ambiguous because government doubles as an employer and a regulator. Now, it is difficult for you to be an employer and a regulator. It then means we are coming to your court. When we have a problem, we come to your court. Meanwhile, you are the worst offender in this case. So that is the challenge we have in this instance. And the workers are still at the receiving end. Now, I was coming from the NIC program now, and I said, why would NIC give injunctions against NLC plan to protest over the increase on pump price of petroleum products? That they should take responsibility because of those injunctions on the suffering of people today. I asked further, can the NLC get injunction from the same court restraining government from increasing? And the answer is heck no. So you can see that the industrial relation climate, the tripartism is not balanced. It's like two legs against one. And in such a situation, what we call conflict or disagreement will continue to emerge. Because the employers, even at this negotiation we had, the employers will always be employers. Whether it is, in the case of Nigeria, it is even worse. Whether it is the Nigerian Employers Association, whether it is state governors, whether it is federal government, these are employers, and they will maintain one position against labor. So you can see that it is not an even, system. Yes. So the industrial relation climate in Nigeria is not even and doesn't give everybody equal protection. There's somebody that will always be at the receiving end, and in most instances, it goes back to the worker.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir.